えなんだ。またいいのぶなだ。
一杯のコーヒーが一日の活力を呼び覚ますんです。必要なのはコーヒーではなく穏やかな心です。
見切ったやっはっはっはっちれやっさあっついたやっさあ追撃しますこうこれ刀はもう鞘
That's so fucking annoying. It's like, I pressed her triangle. I pressed her EX special. I was like, cool, do her EX special. And that's why she got hit. Because she didn't fucking do it. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just finish this guy, press my EX special to go right into him. Did she do it? No, she didn't fucking do shit. So I got hit because of it. Fucking bullshit. It doesn't matter, no. But it is fucking annoying when it doesn't actually do what I'm told. I literally told it to do. It also is really annoying when you have to fight these fucking ranged piece of shit who just never fucking group up and always just in the middle bumfuck nowhere.
終わりだ
邪魔だ。
受けて立つはっやっさやっちれこの気を逃す刀はもう鞘だ 勝ったらあん
何なりと
何かお困り。私は応募背中任せていただけますか。
一つ占ってやろうか。
Oh, okay. Like I said, okay, so triple drop 2. So it's just two runs of that then. Okay, let's do this before I forget. Almost went off to do the main story quest, but then I might have forgotten and then fucked myself over. Okay, so I need more of these, I guess. Also, what's the other one I was using? I think I was using energy regen, but I was desperately low on these. So let's just use these. Fortunately, I only have 2. I shouldn't have used up all the ones I had before. So now I actually have to run it myself. Yeah, that guy's not even needed. I'm still ready. Can I replace anyone else with her? Maybe her? Will she be okay? I need this. Do I need the stun? Am I ever gonna? Realistically, I guess I could stun, perhaps. I don't really know how to use her, so I don't think that's gonna be worthwhile. Ah, fuck it. Let's go. Awesome! Who doesn't love it when the boss fucking leaves the fucking arena so you miss your fucking ultimate? Who doesn't love that shit? Like, honestly, I think Ultimate should just pause combat so that doesn't happen. So it's like, yeah, if you did your Ultimate and they're near you, you get them. The fact that I missed it because they were fucking vulnerable, zooming in and out, is fucking annoying.
弾道を計算中。一心。
Yeah, but it's not like it makes it any less annoying. It shouldn't happen. But yeah, well, the problem is though, is like, it's especially for, the problem is like, is especially in these enemies. These are enemies that like just didn't exist before. And then like just the introduction of these enemies, it's like, hey, look, if you're a miasma enemy, you're just an asshole.
戦いの戦術シーンレディー一気に完璧戦制圧する効果邪水面
That was stupid of me. I saw they weren't even close. Ah, this is fucking annoying.
変流の修正を行います。私から目を離さない。迷いは敵です。
But
トロイぞ。
it's just like, yeah, the two miasma enemies are just really fucking annoying. Not only just simply because they have miasma, which kind of sucks. And so now you basically have to you have to stun them super fucking quick to get their stun window off during a normal round, or they put up a barrier, which means you have to essentially stun them twice. You have to stun them to get rid of their miasma bar, then you can stun them again, which is like, okay, it's kind of annoying. So if you don't have stun characters in your team, you're kind of fucked. And that's both for this one, for this person and the frog. And then both of them, not only do they have this really annoying, hey, we're just gonna make the fight take longer for no fucking reason buff, but it's also like, yep. So, yeah, it's like, it's both. I think the biggest issue is just that they run away like bitches. Both her and the frog both do the same fucking thing. God. Both her and the frog both run away like fucking assholes. It's really fucking annoying. You know, like, she zips away, constantly zipping in and out. The frog also does that. He bounces up super fucking high. At least he takes longer. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna bounce up super high, then jump down, then bounce up again, then jump down, then bounce up again, and jump down. You know, at least it's more normal and like it's easier to focus on. Whereas her, she's like, nah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna zip around. I'm gonna go even faster and be even more annoying. But basically, it's just the reason why I don't like that in this game or any game really. I don't like enemies that run away. Like, just running away is just waste time. It's like, oh great, you run away, so now I can't attack you. Great, awesome. Like, thank you for wasting my time. Thank you for designing a game in a way to waste my time. Who doesn't love that shit? Right? It's just like, why are you doing this? Stop. Stop. Don't have enemies that run away. It's just really fucking annoying to go chase after them. Like, I don't want to have to do that shit. So I wish they just wouldn't do that. Would stop doing that. And for the most part, this game doesn't really have it that much. There are a few ranged enemies who will just stay at range, which is just annoying to have to go chase after them while also avoiding, bosses and shit, especially considering how shitty targeting is. Genshin has that too. Enemies that will try to avoid you or just stay at range. Always annoying, and they serve no real purpose other than just to be annoying. Like, that's it. And And if that was it, and that was all, it's whatever, right? Sure, because and for those, at least those are little tiny small enemies. But for this is a big fucking boss, which just it makes it even more annoying because it's a challenging fight to begin with, and then they just made a challenging fight just annoying, and it just is crazy because they added 2 really annoying mechanics. One, the miasma, which means you just take longer to stun, which just delays how long the fight will take, and then 2, the fact that they run away like a piece of shit, which again delays how long the fight will take. So it's just 2 delaying tactics added into the same monsters of the same type. It's like, yeah, 2 miasma monsters, both fucking run away, both fucking get a miasma shield. It's just like, wow, it's really fucking annoying. Like, just one or the other would be annoying, and I wouldn't like it. But at least it's just, okay, whatever, right? Okay, I just gotta burn them down super quick. But it's like, hey, guess what? You wanna burn it down super quick? Too bad. Stun window immunity. Unless you can really burst stun, you're just not going to be able to do it. And I have done it. Like I have single cycled her before. I have been able to get a stun off before she can go into miasma mode. So it is possible, but it is also still. I mean, it is heavily reliant on like doing a lot of really good counters and shit like that. So it is what it is. Still doesn't mean I like it, and I think it's just bad. It's just it's just annoying. It doesn't make it more fun, it just makes it more annoying. It's not even difficult, it's just annoying. Like, it's not challenging. Now, she is a little more challenging because of how fast she attacks, and how fast and frequently she attacks. Because she's like, slash, 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 slash. Like, if you're seeing those orange slashes, she's like, doing like 5 slashes in a row. And so if you want to, and then like, Yishuan has a bonus, like, if you do dodge counters, but it's like, you have to fucking like dodge a fuckload. So ideally, that's where you're supposed to be countering. And for some reason, I cannot seem to get my parry counters off. Like, I'm pressing the swap button, but I'm pressing the swap button when the orange flash appears, but I'm not doing my parry with my other character. Like, I have no clue. Like, for other ones, I'm fine. I mean, I don't know if I'm just slightly delayed, but like the amount of successful parry counters I've had is just like ridiculously low on her. Because I don't know, maybe I'm just bad, maybe I just don't have the timing down, which is, fair, because we've only had her for a few weeks, and the only time I fought her were as part of the weekly boss thing, so, it's hard to tell. It could be that I'm not used to her, and I am just late. I'm late in doing her attacks. It could be that she is bugged as well, that the window for her parry is just too short or mistimed. So even if I'm doing it at the correct time, it's the kind of thing where I really have to test. It's not all her attacks too. Like I mean, I'm talking about like the multi-slash ones where you keep seeing the orange flashes, where she's like orange flash, orange flash, orange flash. I'm like, I can never seem to catch it. Either I'm doing it the wrong timing, or they just programmed in bad timing. So it's hard to tell because like usually by those multi-slashes, it's like in the middle of the fight. So by that time you're kind of like locked in. And you're just trying to push her really hard, so it's not the time to be like, sit back and be like, okay, let me just sit back and try my timing. And like, I could like go back and fight her now when I don't need the materials just to test it, but like, I don't give a shit that much. She's just annoying. So I don't know if she's just poorly designed or if I'm just bad, because like, that is the tough thing when she's doing so many slashes at once. It's really hard to get the timing, because like because you don't know which hit you're missing, right? Like if you like fuck up the parry timing for other bosses, you understand like, oh, okay, here's the one slash they did. Like, that big guy who does like he slams his fist into the ground. Like one of the older ethereals that we first start, not Butcher, but like, well, kind of the Butcher, but like it's the other big chunky guy who will like wind up his fist and then just start slamming the ground, like punching down into the ground, and you can parry counter one of those hits, but then he still does more hits after that first parry counter. So it's like you parry counter, you'll counter some of the hits, and you either have to parry counter again. Actually, I don't even think you can parry counter again at that point. The Butcher will have multiple parry counters. So it's like you parry the first one, then you can parry the second one, and then even a third. But this big chunky guy, you can only parry like the first 3 hits, and then he'll do like another 2 or 3 more hits. And you can't parry that because there's no flash for it. So you have to like dodge counter as well. So it's like, but at least you know, right? At least you know, oh, okay, cool, I parried the first few, and then you can see when you stop parrying the hits and start taking damage from them if you're not like continuing to dodge and stuff. It's more because they're like, because he's a big chunky guy. He's like, you know, you can see the hits come out. But this girl, this boss, is like so fucking quick and thin, and she has all this like random crap all over her. Like she summons that circle. She has so many like effects, and then is just so fast, and then just flies in and out, which makes it even harder to determine like what part of her is what part. So she's definitely one of the more confusing ones. Like the frog is much better by comparison, although obviously he's not supposed to be as strong. But like because he's bigger, the wind up is more obvious. Because you're like, okay, you just focus on the body and that's it. Whereas for her, it's like, well, it's the hands, it's the feet, it's the circle behind her. Then she also like puts her hand up into the air, and she'll summon little miasma circles on the ground. So even if you're focusing on her, and I got fucked by these things too, if I'm focused too much on her body, I'll miss the fact that she summoned pink circles at my feet, and I take damage from it. So it's like, she's just really, it's not difficult, it's just annoying. She's just very, it's artificial, or if you want to say it's difficult, that's fine, but it's more like artificial difficulty. It's not difficult because it's like, oh, well, these mechanics have very tight parry windows or stuff like that. It's like, well, yeah, but it's also even hard to find out what the parry windows are because of how thin she is, how quickly she moves, how she just runs around. So like when she's zipping out and zipping back in, you know, it's hard to determine what's the parry timing for that shit when she's doing this like 10 times in 20 seconds, right? Or 10 times in 10 seconds, so she's like zip, 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 zip. It's like, it just makes it challenging in the beginning because of this artificial difficulty. They just made it hard to read her in a way that's not like fun. You know? I mean, like, I don't know if you ever played Clair Obscura Expedition 33. Great game, amazing game. It also has it also has parries and stuff like that. And while it's a great game, there were also some really annoying parry timings for that too, where you're just like, oh, okay, he started moving his sword, I'm going to start parrying. It's like, no, he was actually just like doing a wind-up, and he's going to then go a second later, or he does extra little flourishes before finally doing the slash. Like, I had one, there's like some enemies who will like do a running leap at you, swing their sword, but just spin the sword around his own body before, so like winding up, I'll do a full 360 and then do the slash. So you see his sword come in, you're like, oh shit, I gotta parry, I gotta dodge. You know, you see his sword come in, it's like, nope, he's just gonna spin the sword around himself before doing the slash in the next spin. I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like that is just artificial difficulty, where it's like, you could have just made that first swing the hit that you can parry. But no, there's all these like psych outs and stuff like that. Makes it difficult. But I mean, the game is kind of designed to be challenging. It's designed to be like, hey, you can parry literally everything. You can take literally no damage if you dodge or parry everything. So at that point, it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's amazing. Whereas this game doesn't really have that. Like, you can dodge stuff. I think your dodges have a limit. Your like swap parries have limits. You can only do like 6 of them before you have to do other shit to recharge them. So it's like there are these limits, which means like you can't just do it forever, or you have to be like, or the skill cap is just insanely high. Whereas like for Expedition 33, it's like no, you can parry and dodge unlimited times. Just the parry, and like you can literally parry everything, but like the timing for some of the parries is insane. Especially when you're fighting like a final boss in this phase 3. Like, basically each phase doubles the amount of attacks he does in a single attack. So it's like, one combo would be like, okay, it's a 3-slash combo. And then phase 2 happens, and he's like, oh, he now is a phantom sword next to his main sword. So basically that 3-hit combo becomes a 6-hit combo. It's slash, you have to like, instead of just parry, it's parry, 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 parry. Because there's like secondary slash comes in immediately afterwards. And then in phase 3, it's a 3-hit one. So it's like parry, 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 parry. So like, yeah, but like that's designed to be a challenge. And this game, not so much. Or I mean, if you want to do that, like, and like for Expedition 33, like that guy's a purely optional boss. And if you like design a really broken build, you can like burn him down and like kill him before he can. You have to really try if you're really good. You know, if you've designed a really good character, right? So you don't have to rely on parries as much. So like there's stuff like that. Whereas this game, like you can't get, because it's designed kind of as a live service, you can't really get broken builds because, you know, well, I mean, you can, I guess, if you pay a fuckload of money. If you get Mindscape 6 on every single character and max rank their weapons, yeah, sure, I'm sure their damage gets really good. But like, even still, there is kind of a limit. And so Expedition 33 doesn't have to worry about that because it's a single-player game, so they can just fuck around and do whatever. And, you know, let players have their fun. Whereas, like, this game has to limit it to a degree because then it would essentially just be too pay to win. And people would not want to play it because of that reason.
参照会は最初からフォローの中で何かをこっそり私たちに証拠探しとか言ってフォローに入らせたのも、嘘っぱちの告発と労働者のお兄ちゃん宮妻の異常があった地点なってるか調べられる？
ああ、僕も同じことを考えていた。そこまでいければ。よ
し、ありがとねお兄ちゃん。今回も大助かりだよ。今すぐみんなを呼んでフォローの中で確かめてくれね。悪者たち、やった！これでやっと本丸に突撃して。
よくやってくれましたね、お弟子さん。あなたに計画を任せた。
I mean, I get it, right? And like, I think the biggest problem, well, not really problem, but the biggest issue with games like this, or like action combat games in general, where like parrying and dodging is a common thing, is just simply the fact that whenever you first fight a new enemy, it always sucks. It always sucks because it's just, you know, because you don't know the timing and timing windows of anything, and so you get fucked. So, yeah. So like obviously there's gonna be a lot of sour grapes in that first phase. We're just like, I don't know how to fight these people, and like there definitely have been times where like I do a really good job, and like Yixuan is like designed really well for this boss because yeah, she does a lot of attacks, but it's perfect for Yixuan because she does parries, so she can do her EX special to parry the attack and get adrenaline, or not adrenaline. Well, she gets some adrenaline for a correct parry, but like one of her burst meters, one of her ultimate meters is determined by the usage of adrenaline, and so if you're parrying a lot, you get adrenaline refund in addition to just your normal amount you get from attacking in time, just per second. So if you're able to get a lot of parries in, you're going to get like your ultimate much quicker and more frequently. So obviously, like that's the method. Just do get her attacks down so that you can parry them or dodge. She also gets like extra adrenaline for dodge countering too. So it's like I just need to be dodge countering and parrying, and then it'll be easy. But you know, it just takes time to learn her patterns.
シーエンさん、このまま適当。
共にあの恥知らずたちに教訓を与えて。
安心してください。シンエンさんの分も。
I know. Let's send me. The only one of all of us who cannot fight. Yes, perfect.
姉弟子さ
人私さあ月指導のあた
バイトン様命令を待つわ。
一つ占ってやろうか。たまにはこういうのも悪くないな。
I don't know why you would send me that one. It's like, why? You have two of the characters, and you gave us a trial one of these before, so I don't see why you don't let us have a trial one now. Actually, wait, no, before, I don't think it was before. I think it was part of the event. But, anyway, let's do this shit.
異常なデータの分析結果を見る限り、みんな気をつけてく。
安心してください。今度の主導権はアタンさん。私たち
もちろんだ。
ではきっと近くにいます。つまみ出してやりましょう。
No energy, that's so rough. Yeah, except she starts with full adrenaline because adrenaline is not energy, so it's like she gets a huge advantage for this stuff.
やっと終わりました。もう三将会のやつら一体どこに隠れたんでしょう。
船静かに逃げられちまう。
ロア先生はどこに隠れたんでしょう。近くにいる気はす
Oh
るん
yeah,
です
gotta
けど。
destroy these things.
見つけたらよーく懲らしめてやります。
あれって三将会の物資？これ罠。
驚きだな。ちょうどいい。雲岳さんの
何が異業ですか。今すぐ。
司教様のおっしゃる。忘れたとは言わせない。彼らはトップスの下で日々労働を強いられ、彼らの多くは海農水の副作用を知ってなお、僕から君たち雲岳さんが一世代丸ごと犠牲にした。
よくもそんなこと。
そうやって意地を張らずには存分にもがくという。全力を尽くしたところでどうせ徒労に終わる。始まりの主の意志、逆らえる者などいない。
大勢を傷つけた張本人がよく言えますね。
気をつけろ。
船耳なんか貸さなくていい。
両親を共にね。
俺たちでコテン
I
パン
think.
にしてや
Oh,
ろう。
wait, well, beat it. See, it depends on when you stop. I guess it's all been kind of the same. The overarching story has just been kind of. Fucking dog. The overarching story is obviously Hollow Zero happened a while ago. It supposedly it was the person who is being held responsible for the cause of Hollow Zero is your main character's teacher, who you used to go to this academy, and she was the teacher there, and basically she's being blamed as the cause of that. And Hollow Zero, killed a lot of people and fucked over the world. Although it seems like Hollows had existed before then, but I guess Hollow Zero was just the worst it's ever been. And it just, made a lot of child Hollows appear. So maybe there were smaller Hollows, but this one just made them spread all over the world. And so your main characters essentially are trying to find more clues about what happened to your teacher, because this is something that happened ages ago when you were still children, much younger at least. And so you don't really know what happened, and you want to get to the truth of it, figure out what happened. And simultaneously, there's this other organization called the Exaltist, of which Dr. Lore, who is the guy we just saw a second ago, the Exaltists are trying to do something with the Hollows, and we don't really know specifically what they're trying to do. We've seen some of their experiments where they were trying to essentially like turn people into ethereals, but I don't know if that's their actual end goal of turning people into ethereals. I mean, I don't think it is in the way we've seen it, but I think what they're trying to do is I think they're trying to take humanity to the next stage of human evolution. So I think that what they're trying to do is create ethereals with like human consciousness. So like you would inject them with something, and then their body would essentially turn into ethereal while retaining your mind. I think that's what they're trying to do. So essentially you'd have the power of an ethereal, but the mind of a human. I think that's likely what they're trying to do, but they haven't explicitly said that. We've only just seen some of their experiments and stuff like that. And so that was kind of like the first season, patch 1.0 to 1. Whatever. And now this has started 2.0, where we start the whole thing with getting a picture of someone who looks like our teacher in this hollow that we're currently in. And when we come here to investigate, we found Dr. Lore, who is doing human experimentation on the people of this, the workers here who were corrupted when Hollow Zero happened. And he was using the guise of, oh, I have a medicine I could give you even cheaper than what you're getting from your employers, and it gets you high essentially. But also it fucks you over and corrupts you faster. And basically when your corruption index is like maxed out, you essentially turn into an ethereal at that point. So it's like, these people got corrupted when the Hollow appeared, and they've been managing to survive by taking a medicine that kind of like keeps their corruption in check. And this guy is like, hey, that medicine sucks. You should use this medicine. It makes you feel good too. But realistically, it's not actually a medicine. It just has a portion of miasma inside it, which gives that euphoria and actually exacerbates the corruption. So it's like, yeah, so he's an asshole. Right? And he's working for the Exaltist. So now we've chased him into this hollow to try to stop him, because he's gotten the trust of a lot of the locals here who are relying on him for his medicine. And they're not willing to listen and be like, hey, this dude's poisoning you. If you keep taking it, you're going to die. They don't want to listen to us. So he used their trust to essentially bring them in here for another experiment, I guess. But we don't know explicitly what he's going to try to do. But we've seen the end of season 1 essentially had one guy like inject himself with something which turned him into a huge ethereal, mindless ethereal, but like, that type of conversion was like known as sacrifice. So it's like there were these sacrifice cores which are able to let people like transform like that, I guess. But it's irreversible, and it seems like they don't retain their mind. And that's why I'm kind of thinking what they're trying to do is basically give people those kind of bodies, but still allow them to think and be, human in a way. So basically to transcend humanity, where they'll have ethereal bodies so they don't have to worry about hollows anymore, but they'll be intelligent and we'll be able to continue on civilization. But we're still at the kind of beginning points. There's been a lot of other little like side stories that really didn't like progress the main story that much. Like only kind of at the end of season 1 did they kind of like bring it back around to the Exaltist again. And this patch is heavy with Exaltist lore. But like there were, like the prologue didn't really mention it that much. Chapter 1, like we later learned that, oh, okay, well this person was actually part of the Exaltist, so I guess it's kind of related. But then like chapter 2 of the first season was kind of like seemingly unrelated. And then chapter 3 was completely unrelated. It was just like, yeah, you just meet some characters out and about. And you just meet them to meet them, and nothing they do really matters to the overarching story of getting to the truth of the Hollows and the Exaltist and anything. So they do. I mean, it's kind of like Genshin. Genshin does stuff like that too. where it's like, yeah, here's a patch, no new story content, maybe a character quest, maybe an event, that type of stuff. Generally, like, the story is fine, but it's not super compelling. I would say Genshin's story is better, and I would say that Honkai Star Rail is much better. Like, I really enjoy Honkai Star Rail. Like, that's my favorite story because it's silly, it's fun, it's interesting, it's like over the top and crazy and fantastical. And Genshin is a little more grounded, but still tells a really interesting story. And like the Abyss is really interesting. But like, I mean, even now we don't really know much about the Abyss, despite having like, and like, we really didn't interact with the Abyss that much until Natlan, and now it's like, oh, we actually directly fought the Abyss, so we have a little bit of more understanding about the Abyss. But and like the Abyss seems like the final enemy, right? The big bad, along with the goddess. For Genshin, not yet. For Honkai Star Rail, yeah. So I beat the Aquila, the bird thing. That bird boss was amazing. Like, I did not expect it to be a 3-phase fight. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, for Genshin, no, I mean, obviously just released yesterday. I was doing a Final Fantasy XIV raid. But yeah, like, and it just kept going. Honkai Star Rail just kept going. I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna stop at Aquila, right? We beat Aquila, you know. Yeah, the music for the music after Barbara, Pink Barbara uses her limit burst was really good. A nice transition. I don't think it's 3.3. I think it's 3.4 or 5. It's been a while. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be excited about because obviously there's the Fate collab. So we're gonna get Saber and Archer, so that'll be interesting, as well as what's his name, Finon. So yeah, I did. I was thinking maybe not, but like realistically, I kind of want to get a full team of Remembrance characters, kind of, you know, a full team of characters that summon memo sprites. Yeah, Finon looks really cool. His burst looks really cool, but I don't really care about him, so I'm not going to get him. But I did get Cypher and Icene, so I'm pretty. I mean, and I want to get Saber too, so I'm like, it's either Saber or Finon, and Saber's hotter, so Saber wins. Oh, nice. Yeah, she is really, really good. Like, she's a really good healer, because I already had, Death Girl. So Death Girl's name again? Shit, I forget her name. But yeah, Pollux's master. The Death Elf. Yeah, Castoris. That's it. I knew it began with a C, I just couldn't think of it. But yeah, so I got Castoris. On the fly, yeah. Because, like, I'm playing this game, so if I was playing Honkai Star Rail, and then, of course, like, we were calling her Pink Barbo before we even ever knew her name. But yeah. So yeah, I had Castoris, and so I was like, well, obviously this girl is going to work, Icene is going to work really well with Castoris. So I got her for that, and she's still she's still really good with. I still use her in the Aglaia, the Remembrance Trailblazer, Castoris, and then Tribi is a really good team. They might. I forget if they did. I never got bothered looking it up. They have the same vibe, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But I didn't actually bother checking. But I do know that there definitely have been overlaps where characters in Genshin, voice actors from Genshin voice act characters in Honkai too. So, which it's understandable. Like, MiHoYo probably just contracts the same voice acting agency and finds people, or maybe they do more open auditions, perhaps. But either way. So yeah, I got Hysine. I also got Cypher. I really like Cypher. She's not super strong, but I tried to mix her into my Acheron team. Oh, really? Oh. Just can't remember. Misha hasn't spoken in a while. I mean, it makes sense. We've obviously moved well past Penacony by this point. But even in Penacony, he barely spoke. I mean, it's not super hard because I think in the character screen it does say who their VA is. But, or maybe it doesn't. I forget. But either way. Yeah, so I'm not gonna get Final. I'm gonna get Saber. I saw some of the drip marketing for the next few characters too. There's a girl who kind of looks like Fiorina, somewhat. What with a flaming crown. And then there's this other girl. But yeah, I already pulled. I pulled last night, but it was like super late because that's when I finished my raiding. So I was like, okay, I'll just pop into Genshin, you know, spend my resin, quickly pull for her real quick. So I got Skirk in her weapon, but now I'm out of primos. So I don't know what I'm. I don't think there's a new character coming up that I want, so I'm fine. But so she should be fine for a while, hopefully. But we'll see. The unfortunate thing is I don't really have any good artifacts set for her. I mean, it depends. Like, Sitlolly is a little more account friendly because Sitlolly reduces pyro and hydro resistance when you do a vaporize or a freeze. So it works kind of for both teams, whereas Skirk only really works in freeze teams. So with Skirk, you can only have hydro cryo. That's it. Like, she's designed around freezing it. Like she's designed around the frozen reaction. So she's not super account friendly. So if you don't have good, I mean, luckily she's a DPS, so you only really need cryo and hydro supports, of which there are a bunch. So yeah, that could be fine. Whereas for Sitlolly, she is a support, so you would actually need a decent hydro or pyro DPS. But Sitlolly kind of works more, and then of course the fact that she's Natlan also means that she triggers the Night Soul Burst. She reduces the cooldown for Night Soul Burst if you have a bunch of other Natlan characters, even if it's not about just that. Like even if you're not doing vaporizes or melts, or not vaporizes or melts, melts or frozen, she can still reduce Night Soul Burst and provide a shield, so that's kind of useful. So it depends on like what you need more or what you have more.
多分超海能水を売ってたのはロア先生だったけど、三将会の本当のとにかく今はフォローに戻って最悪の場合、
そうですね。
リン、もうだいぶ落ち着い
And I guess the other problem with DPS though is obviously like all gacha games, there will eventually be power creep, and freeze is kind of a rough reaction to begin with anyway. So it's like, I would say if you don't have a Scofier, then don't really worry about Skirk, because the Scofier really ramps up freeze reactions, and Skirk really works well with freeze reactions. So obviously the two of them are really, really good together. So if you don't have a Scofier, I would say like, Skirk will still be fine, and she looks cool, and that's why I got her, just because she looks cool. But Sitlolly is just has a lot more utility. She has some good cryo application. She provides a shield. She has some interesting travel, like you can hold the jump button and you jump up super high and float, so that's always kind of fun. Extra traversal options in the open world. And she's a catalyst, so she can always do cryo, so she's good in co-op as well, because she can always trigger cryo reactions. So, generally I would recommend Sitlolly is just more all around. But if you really like Skirk, then if you're just like, my god, Skirk is just so awesome, I have to have her, then it's like, yeah, just go for Skirk then. But it doesn't really matter. You don't really need a team. There definitely are extra Hydro and Cryo. You could have Xingqiu, Barbara, and Charlotte, or Chi-Chi, or whatever, you know, to get your freezes. Oh, yeah, and it seems like Sitlolly's a better choice.
とにかく時間がないし。
お弟子ちゃん、お師匠様はまだ回
I mean,
復したばかりですから。
the silly thing about that is like, oh, it'll only be the meta for so long, and like she's like, I don't know if you'll. I mean, maybe we can see it for the next Spiral Abyss to see how many people use Skirk and what teams they use her in. Because I bet 9 times out of 10, if you see a Skirk team, it'll be like Skirk Escoffier, because Escoffier gives she like with an all Cryo Hydro team, it reduces Cryo Hydro resistance by like 50 or 60%. So it's like you're going to get so much more damage. And then if you get C1 Escoffier, she also gives an additional 60% crit damage for Cryo. Any Cryo users get a 60% crit damage for Cryo damage. So it's like, oh, well, that's fucking amazing then. So like it's just so, and like the problem is you kind of need that. Yeah, so there definitely will be, for the Spiral Abyss that they design after Skirk, the next one will probably have a side of the room, one side that will just be like those Hydro mimic enemies and stuff that does well with Hydro. Like basically, you'll see a lot of Hydro enemies, so you can get lots of freezes off. But again, it's like you have to have teams like that to do well, and otherwise, like. The problem is it's just that Cryo or Freeze doesn't provide any damage bonuses, right? Like vaporizes, boost damage, melts, boost damage, aggravates, boost damage. Hyper Blooms and Nilo teams have great damage. You know, like all these reactions do damage and boost your damage, but Freeze does nothing. It's only CC, so you have to. So the damage dealers have to like be ridiculously strong just to kind of match up. Because like even Vaporize, which is like the weaker of their reactions, is a 1.5 times, like a 50% bonus. But like, so the cryo damage users have to all account for and be strong enough to overcome a 50% bonus damage that the other people will have from reactions. So it's like they have to be like really cracked to do really well. So it's rough, you know. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, you could do a freeze team, or you could just like you could bring Furina in to keep you constantly freezing them and getting Furina's damage bonus, or you could just swap Skirk out for like a Pyro character and do melts, or I mean vaporizes, you know, and just get a 50% damage bonus on top of Furina's buffs. So it's like, it's just kind of like, you could do it, but it's just easier to not do it and just to use Vaporize. And like you have to be pretty cracked to even do well. So it's like, and that's kind of like why Escoffier even exists. It's like, oh, we understand that freeze teams suck dick. So here's, sorry. I meant Vaporize with, I was thinking Skirk and Pyro. But I'm like, no, I was thinking if you have Skirk with Furina, so you keep constant freezes going. I was thinking you swap out Skirk with a Fired. And I was just mixing up. Oh, you're removing Ice character, putting in a Fire character that makes Melt. I'm like, oh wait, no. You're putting in a Pyro character with Furina Vaporize. So, yeah. And Melts do even more damage. So it's like, yeah, you could have a cryo unit for your freezes, or you could just swap out Hydro, or I mean, Hydro for a Pyro and do Melts, which do even more damage. So it's like, you know, the other reactions just do so much more damage that, like, you really have to make up for a lot of missing damage. And that's why, like, Escoffier is so broken, where it's like, yeah, we're reducing their resistance by 50%, and C1 boosts your crit damage by 60%. And, you know, most cryo damage users have Blizzard Strayer, which means with a cryo resonance will mean their crit rate's going to be basically 100%. So it's just like all that stacked together just to kind of make them, basically to even the playing field. Not to make the freeze like super strong, but just kind of make them as strong, which is kind of rough. Because all that work just to make them as strong as the other reactions. Whereas the other reactions are just easier. And you need to build around them less, because it's like, nah, it's just about doing enough, you know, you just need a really good applicator and driver. Oh, you mean Skirk's trial team had her and another 5-star? Maybe? They might have done it before. I can't remember. Perhaps. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Probably because yeah, like Shenhe and Ayaka always were paired, but I don't think their trial run had them. Like when, like I think the last time there was an Ayaka banner, I think it might have been with Shenhe. But like on the banner, on the limited banner, but I don't think they were with each other's trials, because realistically, you don't really need them to be. Like Ayaka just needs a good Hydro applicator in her team, so you could use 4 stars for that. So the fact that Skirk has a Scoffier in her trial is not great, because yeah, it does kind of show like how necessary it is for it. But yeah, for Skirk, Scoffier is really, really helpful. Yeah, usually. Because usually you don't really even need more than that. Because like the 4 stars are fine. You need to do damage, fine. You just need an applicator so that you can do that. So realistically, she doesn't even need a Scoffier, because what she really needs is a good Hydro applicator, so she can constantly get freezes. Whereas a Scoffier gives her a damage boost, but also just applies cryo, which Skirk is already doing. So it might be, but I forget. There's been so many trials. But I do think if this is not the first time, it is incredibly rare. So, yeah. It's not a great sign, the fact that you kind of have to resort to that. To really showcase your character by having a character that's designed to buff them. But I mean, I had Ayaka, I had Ganyu. Yeah. And most people don't, and that's kind of why they do with 4 stars, because it's mostly being there to show team building. Be like, here's the kind of team that you should have for them. Like, here's the teams that work well with them. Like, even with Nilo, it would be like Nilo, and they probably give you Yao Yao, and probably Xingqiu, and maybe a Cole or something like that. Probably something around there. So, yeah, like the idea is that you're just mostly kind of showcasing, here's the type of team composition you're going to look for. So usually they don't have to front load it with damage because they don't make the trials that difficult. And I can't imagine why you would need a Scoffier. Because there are, like, if you need a cryo healer, Charlotte works. Charlotte's a cryo healer. You can use her instead. So, it is weird. It also is not a great sign, too. Because it does kind of mean that, like, if you don't have a Scoffier, things might be rough. If even the developers acknowledge that, yeah, to really showcase her abilities and power, we need another limited 5-star.
さっき言った司教音楽さんは昔、みんなが海農水の副作用を知ってて、幻覚を追い求める選択をしているのはそのせいで。
Yeah. I mean, at least, like, yeah, I mean, Charlotte will be there. But, like, at least we get a new character, Dahlia. Like, that's what I like. When they put the new 4-star on a character banner I'm going to pull. Because, like, if it was just a rerun banner, Because like there have been many times before where it's like, oh, here's a new 4-star. We're going to put them on the rerun banner. Oh, okay. Yeah. Escoffier does that. It is ridiculously powerful. It is kind of weird too, because like back in the day, people were surprised. So basically, the way energy works in the trial arena is that you get like ridiculously high energy recharge, or they just have enemies drop like more particles or stuff. So basically, there were people who were like, wait a minute, like I'm not getting as much energy, because like basically they increase the energy recharge so that you would always have your burst, you'd be able to use your burst more frequently. Yeah, and so when people realized that, I think miHoYo came out and said, yeah, this is the case. We increased energy recharge so you'd have your burst up, so you could use, you could get a feel for how these characters play when you have a full rotation, a proper rotation. So it's like having Escoffier with Skirt is kind of like doing that, where it's like if you have to do something like that to showcase the character, it does kind of show that there's like issues with the character. That you like, because obviously the what you might think is, oh well, then the character's damage must be kind of shit without Escoffier to buffer, and that's why they didn't show her, or that's why they had them paired, is because without Escoffier, Skirk just doesn't do enough damage, which is bad. So people wouldn't pull. So, did they do this intentionally? Probably to give people a false sense for how powerful she is. But, I mean, like, we already knew that she'd only really work in Freeze Team anyway, so there are a limited number of, like, really good... Because, like, Furina is also a really good choice for Skirk. So it's like, yeah, that would also be a good choice, but, you can't just have everybody. You can't do it all. Team of all 5 stars. But it's still, yeah, it would... Regardless, they should have just kept it 4 stars, but... I mean, I always find it funny when the trials, the 4-star trials, include each other's characters, where you're like, oh, I'm going to do this 4-star trial for this character. Oh, it includes this other character. It's like, dude, you included a character who's in another trial. Like, why do I even need to have a trial with her when you're already including the 2 of them together? Like, I just need 1 character trial to try out both of them. Why do you have a second trial?
ポーセルメックスにいくらもらっそういうわけです
もう三将会の計画は
どうしたもんかね。ただお師さんが本調子。
みんな落ちて、師匠がね、適当か。
Okay. I've been walking. Oh, for only an hour? Okay, well, I gotta take a break. Been walking for 50, 60 minutes. Kinda. There was a bunch of people corrupted by miasma, and so she used an array to extract all the miasma from them, which coalesced in a big ball in the sky, which she then used her power to, destroy. So she used her power to purify the miasma ball. However, to do that, she kind of takes a little bit she's basically absorbing it herself and purifying it. So this is the repercussions of doing that. So she's feeling a little under the weather because she kind of overextended herself. And it seems likely, especially considering the timing of when she told us about the sword, means she's probably going to use the sword. And my guess is that we have to save her and stop her from, killing herself, I guess. Maybe we can purify her or help her. Whew, I'm tired. It's just so fucking hot as well. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it, but I will be on tomorrow as well to play more of this. And then I'll also be on later today, much later in the day though, around 9 p.m. Pacific, to do another Fork Tower run. Because unfortunately yesterday, our best run was the first one, and the 3 runs after that all sucked. We had 2 people fuck up on the same part right before we got to the third boss, which we were trying to progress through. And then because we had a random person in our team, we died to the second boss because they stood in the wrong spot and basically fucked over all our DPS and fucked over a lot of other people too. So that does kind of suck. That's what happens when you have 48-man content that anyone can just randomly join, even if you're not in a group, because people show up, want to join, don't know the fight, and their ignorance fucks everyone over, and they're just selfish pieces of shit, and that's just what happens. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it, but thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.